So shifting gears to California, because now that everything's kind of burnt to a crisp, there's still fires going, ladies and gentlemen. As we're speaking, there was another one that just came out recently, and it just seems like a never-ending nightmare. But it's even more of a nightmare when you have people like Gavin Newsom celebrating the fact that people have lost everything. All their houses got burnt. And now we go into the development phase. He does this little shimmy about how he called the governor of Hawaii that also had a miraculous wildfire, burnt all these homes down to a crisp. Everybody lost everything. But now we get to do the redeveloping phase. So let me just remind people how insidious
We're
this
dealing with a
looks.
myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties.
Mm-hmm. Land buyers, speculators. Oh, it's just so wonderful. I'm going to do a little shimmy. Like he has got to be this most diabolical salesman you ever met. Like, he would sell you a one-way pass to hell. That's the kind of person Gavin Newsom resembles to me. Like, no sane person does that.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
So he's working with developers and legal teams to move this forward. Why would he exactly need the legal teams to rebuild the homes of the people that live there? Oh, wait.
We're dealing with a myriad.
Turns out it's not for the people that live there. And as Kevin Dalton pointed out, they are going to turn Altadena, which is one of the heavy hit areas. Altadena is just off of Pasadena. It's a lovely neighborhood that went in flames, got burnt to a crisp. That was one of the fires. They want to turn that into one gigantic apartment complex. So they want to take legal teams and developers, take all the land there, all the single dwelling homes where families raise their kids and start a life there, take all that away and build a ginormous apartment complex. And they even stated this on their television station. This is not like some backdoor deal. This is openly in front of Californians that lost everything. And this guy is about to explain this to one of the local stations in California, openly saying, hey, we're going to take over your land and build this apartment complex. Listen.
But the most interesting element of my conversation with Mr. Giacoletti was when he talked about the possibility of, as we start rebuilding, starting to relax some of the zoning laws, especially in a more working class neighborhood like Altadena, so that rather than putting up single family residences, especially on parcels where people might not have the wherewithal to rebuild at all, we allow developers to start putting up duplexes and apartments, in other words, increasing density. But the most interesting element of my
So he's stating that we get developers to go in there, rezone the land instead of single family homes, single dwellings. We're going to turn that into duplexes and apartment complexes. Coming from this guy who looks like he just took some shag carpeting and put it onto his face. Like the hair really... It literally looks like the shag carpeting from like one of those, late night vans of the 70s. You know what I'm talking about. He's openly stating that the people of California that lost their homes is completely wiping out any sort of progress of rebuilding that home. Then now you're going to live in an apartment complex. And he's stating this right in front of your face. Right on television.
My conversation with Mr. Giacoletti was when he talked about the possibility of, as we start rebuilding, starting to relax some of the zoning laws, especially in a more working class neighborhood like
Starting to relax the zoning laws. So that's where the legal team comes in. Because those areas used to be single family neighborhoods, used to be single family dwellings, single households with probably a nice backyard and a walkable area. Like I seeing the pictures of it, it looks incredible. That's all gone away. All gone away. Now they want to put a giant apartment complex. Which if you've seen these modern day apartment complexes where they house like thousands of people, it looks less like a condo building and more like a human dog kennel where everybody's stacked on top of each other. But they can market it and sell it and say how great it is because maybe there's a Walgreens at the bottom. How convenient that would be. You'd never have to leave your house. You never get fresh air. It'd be like a prison, but it's so modern.
Altadena, so that rather than putting up single-family residences, especially on parcels where people might not have the wherewithal to rebuild at all, we allow developers to start putting up duplexes and apartments, in other words, increasing density, but also increasing more housing.
Increasing more housing, increasing density, meaning that everyone's going to stack towards each other. You're not going to have that nice family home, that, kind of modern nuclear family, that common dream that everybody had for many decades. That's gone now. You're now going to live in a shoebox made by concrete and glass, and you're going to be all dense together. But it's okay. It's okay. We'll mark it pretty. And they're going to relax the laws to do this. So it kind of makes you wonder how this all planned it out. How the fires, how the governor responded, how the mayor responded. Conveniently, the mayor was out in Ghana, in Africa, when the warnings were sent out. How it seemed to be controlled in a certain way. It's almost like to please this. It's almost like that. It's almost like, oh, to tip my tongue here, something smart city-ish, It's I like to consider it a technocratic concentration camp. But that may be a little too much. So we're going to call it a smart city. Because who doesn't like smart? Who doesn't like technology? Who doesn't like having a Whole Foods right next door? Next to, 30 other people living on the same floor. So, this is what Altadena used to look like. And it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. It literally looks like something out of a movie set. It literally looks like something out of a movie set where kids maybe riding their bikes. Maybe there's an ice cream truck that comes by. Everybody waves at each other. Like, it literally looks like something you imagine like in the 50s. Where the dad works one job, the mom maybe stays at home, raises the kids goes off to school, maybe one of them is old enough to go to college, what have you. This seems like the American dream. It seems like if you had to put the American dream into a photograph or put it into an AI image, this would pop out. But they want to take this. So all this got burnt down. They want to take this and turn it into this. This is the modern day apartment complex, ladies and gentlemen. And this doesn't look like your average apartments, ladies and gentlemen. This looks horrifying. This literally looks horrifying. It literally looks like a giant prison made of glass and cinder blocks. And these are very common in places like China. These are very common in those neighborhoods. And particularly this apartment complex, it holds about 20,000 people. 20,000 people. So almost, I don't know how big Altadena is, but that could almost take the entire city and shove it into this monstrosity tower. They want to take Nice single family, well-to-do nuclear family, kind of, relaxing, picturesque neighborhood, and turn into this. That is just crazy. And the fact that the fact they're doing this so swiftly is even more crazy. It's cringeworthy. It's diabolical that they're just openly stating on just television, hey, we're just going to relax the laws. We're going to come in. We're going to destroy the rest of the neighborhoods. We're going to tear away from any of the houses there. And you're going to live in a shoebox. You're going to live in a shoebox so people become more dense. There's less space. There's less chances of you raising a family. You'll probably just get a bed and maybe a toaster. But it's okay because, you're just going to need a place to sleep, and then you just go to work and then go back. And it's not like you need to find a livable space to raise a family. It's crazy. It's crazy. And they're completely just jumping over the fact that the mismanagement, the fact that the reservoirs were completely dry. There was the fire hydrants. They people are scrapping the fire hydrants. They're breaking because people are taking the metal from the fire hydrants and pawning it. And the fire trucks, many of which need repairs, and they would have been repaired if the mayor didn't cut back the budget for the fire department. So it's just all diabolical. It really is diabolical. It's all sinister. And I'm not in a light way. Like, this is just insane that they're coming on board to just openly admit to this, that people are just going to have to get along. They're going to have to agree that everyone's going to live in a shoebox now. And your lovely, picturesque house that you've raised a family, that you grew kids, that maybe your kids end up inheriting is gone. That vision is gone in order to get this. Absolutely crazy. But here's what's even more crazy. So this guy, Dom Lucra, breaker of narratives, this breaking news. This disturbing image was spotted on Google Maps in Los Angeles, California, with the words "help" and "traffico" written in the debris, surrounded by shipping containers. It has been confirmed that a lot next to this location is a shipping yard, which has been led to users' fear that this is connected to human trafficking or worse. Well, they just stated that they're going to need these apartment buildings to house more people, which makes you all wonder if all of this is in part with the lax borders. That, hey, all these migrants that are pouring in, we're going to have to build these giant apartment complexes. Let's just burn down an entire neighborhood so we get the space for it. And it's just going to be so great because we can talk to developers, and then everybody's going to just live in a concrete box. So here's the images here, and it's pretty daunting. It's pretty daunting. Like, look at this. You can see help. Spell down debris. Next to a cargo port. Look at that. That is scary stuff, ladies and gentlemen. That is scary stuff. And no doubt that there could be a connection with the human trafficking involved in this. And the lax borders, and the fact that, California deliberately ignored the whims of wildfire calls to completely destroy entire neighborhoods, Altadena, Pacific Palisades, and further on. There's still wildfires that are burning to this day in order to advance the globalized process of building these smart cities. Again, it's more like a technocratic concentration camp where they send you into a human-sized kennel, these giant apartment buildings, instead of actually having homes there people can raise their kids. You're now stuck together in this apartment building. And the fact that they need more space, they need more density, they're probably bringing in more people through this. This is how they're exploiting people. And like I've stated before, and I'll state this again, I do not blame the migrants for this crisis. I blame the people involved that are purposely exploiting the system, that are allowing these migrants to flourish, to come into the country. That they're stealing people, that they're smuggling people through cargo ships and planes and transporting them here illegally, so that they can use them for cheap labor, so that they can exploit them, so that they can use them for political power. And obviously, with the people coming in, they're going to need to find space for them to live. So it does not surprise me that the apartment buildings, the fires, the complete destruction of California, Los Angeles area is all connected. Is all connected to this. And it's not a tinfoil hat, conspiracy, crazed lunatic idea. It's just simple observation. The fact that Gavin Newsom stated that we're going to get developers and we're going to get a legal team to change the zoning laws. And then you get some guy who goes on to the local news program and openly states it. This is all part of their heinous project that devastated families and communities and neighbors within California state, within Los Angeles County. And these people did not have to go through this. They did not deserve this. And it's just devastating that they lost everything in order to get the monstrosity of this technocratic, feudalistic society that you're now going to live in a cage, a cement glass cage, and they're trying to market this as, oh, we're rebuilding. Don't worry, we'll put like a Staples at the bottom floor so that way people can get office supplies whenever they want. It really is just sick.